It's a podcast, it's a video, and more.
Okay. Welcome to
We Grwn? ?
My name is Moyo.
I'm Shaun.
I'm Jess.
And this podcast is for us to kind of just document our friendship.
Our lives.
Yeah, we've been at it for a while, so might as well. So we're gonna start with our first segment. So please tell us, like, what had you feeling old? Like, what had you feeling like, oh dang, I'm grown?
That's true. I guess I could take this one because at least in the notes it says that I'm starting this. So, I am the director of a development program, and they're all high school seniors going to freshman year of college, and it makes me feel super old. The terminology, I have no clue what they say. Like, I have a Urban Dictionary open all the time. Oh shoot, let me double check. Like, what? Oop, close. And I'm like, all right, yeah, they just really they do that. Like, I was talking, I said happy birthday, like, oh, we're going out for drinks, and they're like, I'm 20, and I'm like, I guess we'll go out for some apple juice. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of that's what made me feel old recently.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of high school and college kids, I think that kind of segues into how me and Shaun originally met. So
Flashback time.
we met at a high school graduation cookout.
Party.
Yeah. And basically Shaun was like, hey, what school are you going to? And I'm like, and I was like, oh, I'm going to UMBC. And he's like,
Me too.
and then he says, what will you major?
what's your major?
Yeah, and back then it was chemical engineering, dreaming big.
And mine was also chemical engineering.
What dorm are you gonna stay in? And we just kept having these, oh, me too, and I was just sitting there like, okay.
Absolutely crazy. Like, I think our rooms, we were on the same floor, we were in the same section. Like, it took me 5 steps to get to your room, and I was like, this is crazy.
We literally had just met maybe a week before orientation.
Yeah.
And that's another crazy story, because my mom was like, oh, remember that boy you met at that cookout? Tell him to take you to orientation. And I'm like,
Did that happen?
Yes,
Did I
you
take
took
you?
me to orientation. No, you didn't take me. You took me home from orientation. Yeah. So she dropped me off, and then
And I just took
and
you
then
home.
you took me home, and it was really weird.
Riding in the car with a stranger.
And she just like, go ahead. That was back before people, I guess, were getting
No,
kidnapped.
people were definitely getting kidnapped.
Listen, I was apparently dispensable, so
It's fine.
Yeah.
We met at a cookout. What could go wrong?
But yeah, and then you met Jess first.
Yeah, so my roommate, I remember I went into the room, and you were sitting on my bed, and I was like, what are you doing? Why are you on my bed? Oh, like, I'm here for your roommate. Go to his bed. Don't sit on mine. But then that was like a thing, because everyone sat on my bed, and I was like, I hate all of you. Like, stop sitting on my bed. But that became a thing. Yeah, so then that's where you came from. And most likely you were probably with me.
I cannot pinpoint exactly when I met Jess, but yeah, pretty much that freshman year of college, like, all of us got together.
Yeah, and that just became the three
core,
of us. Yeah.
I don't know if it was our core immediately.
It
but
wasn't.
Eventually
It was
it
like,
became our core.
We both were close to Shaun, but we weren't really
Yeah.
close to each other. So we just like, oh, well, if Shaun's there, I guess.
But, I know we were close, but then were you just tagging along?
Wow.
Because I remember we would be places.
We would be places,
Yeah.
but that's what I said. I don't really know I can't pinpoint when Jess became like part of our core group. But it doesn't matter now. Like, we more than 10 years in at this point.
Did y'all become roommates the second
Yes.
year?
Yeah, the second
I feel like it
Sophomore
had to be
year.
around then.
That's when we all
No,
became
that was,
really
I
close.
literally was with y'all all the time. Sophomore, well, maybe not all the
Okay,
time.
but a lot of people were
stuff.
with us all the time. Like,
Okay.
Your
This
roommate.
This
no.
obviously wasn't rehearsed because
Yeah.
Because I would hang out with Shaun without Moyo. That was the other part. That's why I was like, me and Shaun.
But I feel like me and Shaun were attached at the hip freshman year. Like people would be like,
"Oh,
where's Shaun?" And people would ask him like, "Where am I?" I'm like, we are two people, separate people.
Yeah, y'all were. Yeah.
We hung out. We hung out a lot.
Yeah.
And then we became one.
No, we didn't. but definitely a core. We're definitely the core of our little.
Because our first group me was called the Apple Core.
Apple cinnamon core.
Yeah, excuse me.
Oh,
Forgot the cinnamon.
My cinnamon apple.
What?
You don't remember? You was my cinnamon apple.
I don't remember that either.
Know. Obviously, Jess loved us a lot.
Yeah. That's what's going to be bad about this, because I have horrible memory when it comes to certain things.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why we really need to talk about it now while we're not young, but like we really getting old and we really can't remember things.
I don't know. My first impression of Shaun was he was very extroverted and like not overly friendly, but just like very energetic and friendly, but also a little rude. But it was because he was so high energy, it was like you kind of dismissed the rudeness a little bit. Yeah. And then Moyo, she was a character. You were quiet, but you were opinionated.
Yeah. And
so for the most part, I feel like you were just like, if I bangs with you, you'll hear more of what I have to say. But if I don't, I'm not really here to talk to you, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty much still like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're still like that.
I mean, I feel like that really worked out for me because I feel like I might not detach from people as quickly, and then Moyo would be like, we can move on from them. And I'm like, yes, that is perfectly fine.
We can move on from them?
Well, it was definitely a we at the time.
Usually it's Moyo that breaks up a friendship. Well, not even breaks up a friendship, but just be like, yeah, I'm over this person. And then the rest would be like, okay, I see it. Yeah, never mind. I'm out.
Yeah, I would be the first. I wouldn't say I'm bringing... Y'all have y'all own minds, and I'm tired of y'all putting stuff on me. But I'm very quick to figure people out and then be like, that's not the person I want in my life. And even some people that I've given chances to, after a while, it's like, all right, like, I can only give so much. So, yeah.
Because some people suck.
Some people just not meant for you. Like,
yeah.
People be people, man.
Yeah. I mean, but that was freshman year. It was a lot of people in and out, and this is what stuck. I mean,
we have others that stuck.
Yeah.
It's really
hard to get. Yeah, it's really hard to get everybody together, and then also everybody didn't really have the passion to do a podcast. So it's like, do you really want to drag somebody who doesn't really want to do it? They'll do it because they're our friends, and they'll do whatever we ask them to do. But also, nobody want to keep asking you to do something if you don't really want to.
Because it's work. It's gonna be. It's gonna be work.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want it to be
like we spent how many hours just now just trying to get our initial setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have no clue what we're doing. So we hope it gets better as it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it will. But I just remembered freshman year I had Psych 101 with Moyo, and I think that's where I got to know her because we were because that was the only like class that I had with somebody that I actually like knew before the class. So we were just like, okay, we'll be partners because that's how I learned how to spell her name, and so that's why I can never misspell her name.
Listen, I don't really remember. Like I keep saying, I can't pinpoint like interactions with Jess in the beginning. Jess is my left hand now or right hand, whichever one is the good hand. like so I don't really like. I know she doesn't feel no type of way, or maybe she does. Who knows? But like, she shouldn't feel any type of way that I don't remember it back then because back then we just weren't at that place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, and Moyo was very, very open about that. Even before we were roommates, he was just like, "Yeah, we're not that close."
Yeah, but, I mean, we weren't. Yeah,
but yeah, I do remember Psych 101 because again, that's when I learned how to spell your name because I continuously had to put it on our joint worksheets. So I'm just like, okay, well,
awesome.
I feel like y'all had y'all what y'all call it? The
We
class
had
that
an
got kicked
engineering.
out.
No, that wasn't freshman year.
No, that was
Sophomore?
Because we
It could've
planned
been-
to take that
that
class
could've been
together,
junior,
so it wasn't
sophomore,
freshman year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't good.
I had like engineering classes with a lot of people.
It wasn't me because I don't think I ever actually got to engineering classes.
I took an engineering class with a couple people. I think Marcus might have been in one of my classes. But yeah,
Marcus was in my computer science class. I don't think that was freshman year either, though.
I don't think so.
Marcus might be on this podcast at some point as a special guest if a lot of things happen. But yeah.
No, we're gonna make that happen. He will be here one day.
Okay,
Marcus is a part of the core, but he's Marcus.
Cinnamon core.
My first impressions, again, don't really remember exactly, but I will say, I feel like when I thought that Jess didn't fit our group at first. Like, she was the popular girl who did dance and like.
I wasn't even dancing freshman year.
Okay,
but you did. You were a dancer and you were like you were just had a lot of friends.
I think Jess was in the middle of finding yourself, and that might have been.
And she came in with somebody who was a popular person, like somebody who everybody
The Twixter?
knew.
Was it not the Twixter?
Who was that?
Oh.
Your roommate.
Yeah,
you're talking about your
I'm talking about
roommate.
the roommate.
Oh,
yeah,
I
like he was
talking about
somebody that everybody gravitated towards. I feel like, and it just wasn't my type of vibe. Like, I don't like people who have too much attention, and Jess was in that. Like, it might have not been her causing it, but she was around a lot of people who brought a lot of attention and did a lot and like thought really highly of themselves. So to me, I was like, it's not really my type of. Because I don't want nobody feeling like. Because I had people who would be like, "You don't know me. Why would I? Like, who are you to me that I gotta know you?" Like, people legit asked me that in school. Like, "Oh, you should know me." Like, da 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 da. So that was the group that I kind of categorized her in, and that's why we but we didn't mesh in the beginning because you just had a lot of friends. And then Shaun had a lot of friends too, but he was more like quirky and like you could still talk to him, and he didn't feel like, "Oh, I'm better than anybody. I just like to talk to people, and I like to have friends, and I like to, be everywhere and do everything."
Yeah, I definitely wanted to try everything.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, this isn't for me. Gotta go.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how I felt I was freshman year. Like, I was there, I was still myself, but I just was like, okay, I'll be here, I'll be there, I'll see what I like, I see what I don't like. But I can see how, like, the people that you saw me with probably were, like, people that you were just like, not really my thing. But I'm that person that's just like, oh, I'll keep giving it a try. Like, I feel like the one person in particular that we might be thinking about, like, we all hung out with that person. But eventually, I probably was the last person I was just like, maybe not be friends with this person as much. It's probably the reason why we became roommates.
First impression, Shaun. I don't think you gave yours.
I did not. Jess was on my bed, and I ain't like that. Simple as that. I mean, but we became cool. I really don't know how we ended up. Maybe you were just following us places. I don't know. Like, I don't know. But
I feel like she was kind of like she had the friend, but she was trying to separate herself from him.
Yeah.
So being around him kind of just was like, well, I'd rather do what they're doing than what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's really how it happened. Like, I would be there because that was the one person I knew, but I was like, oh, these people are kind of cool. I think I'm gonna stick with them.
Yeah,
and then
I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
That makes a lot more sense.
I probably invited you places because that's something that I would do. Like, you coming?
And literally, we lived right across from D Hall, so and that's how that was a lot of the times we hung out was going to dinner or breakfast on Saturday.
Yeah, and that was really And then I don't know, you just
first impression to me.
I don't even remember my first impression because it was just like, you keep copying me, and then
you mean
all right,
you keep copying
whatever,
me.
same thing. And then I was like, guess we're friends.
Yeah, it was really weird.
And then that's kind of how it was. There was no kind of like, I don't know. We just
Yeah, I don't remember us
Yeah.
not being friends anymore. Like we even knew I knew of you, but didn't really know of you. Like you were on
Yeah.
that track relay team, and I knew everybody on there but you. And I was like, how did I never know him? And my brother's like, he was on the team, da 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 da. And I'm like, I've seen every other one of them except for him.
And I feel like that's because, well, at least a period of time, like my senior year, everyone that was on it probably was more cool than I was. I mean,
But it's always 4 people, so how was I never like? How did I never get to you in that?
Well, because I feel they ran races that were like popular. They ran like the 200, the 400. I was the 800 runner, and no one ever pays attention to the 800, like unless you like the 800. But it's one of those races where it's like, it's not short enough, but then it's not long either. So it's like, and it's at random times. So
I never ran track, so I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I was just saying, like, we had crossed paths so many times that it was crazy that was the place we met. Like, we had so many opportunities to have met or even seen each other or known of each other. And we just meet at this random person's graduation cookout, which that wasn't somebody I was close to.
It wasn't somebody.
Yeah, so it was just like, why are we both here? It was just really random. Then I mean, everything happens for a reason, so it made sense to us now. But back then, it was just like,
it was just so much like coincidence. Like we're going to the same school, we're doing the same major, we're in the same dorm, we're on the same floor, we're 3 doors down from each other, and it's like friends.
I think we can wrap up this podcast, this episode anyway.
Yeah. That's about it.
We hope you guys enjoyed our intro episode. I know it was a lot in this first little chunk.
And it's always going to be a lot. So stay tuned. Get ready. Grab those rings. Let's go.
Okay.
All right.